My name is Maria Hudson. It was time to buy a home because we were tired of being renters. We made that decision a long time ago. We were displaced due to a demolition and rebuild, so we were actually homeless for a period of time. So we were in good standing with the Section 8 voucher for 23 plus years, and that was like the fourth landlord that had displaced us. So at that point, we decided to search for homeownership programs. Over the time and space, October 6, 2023 is when we experienced our last demolition and rebuild due to landlord. And so when we met Jessica, we went from being displaced, homeless, and unhoused to homeownership. So we started that process in last year, and we received our homeownership voucher in August of last year. I'm actually divorced. I've owned homes before and lost it in the divorce. I don't think I had any fears per se, because I had gone through the process before, but it was important for me to have my daughter, my youngest daughter, who was 19, own the home with me. So for her, it was very exciting. She got to pick the home. And so this is her actual first home purchase, where she's not a renter. She's 19. She's also autistic. So in order to meet her special needs for autism, a live-in aid, and really just give her a free space not to be threatened with, I would say, eviction due to them not understanding her disabilities, her autism, her outbursts, it was important to get her her own home. Our previous mortgage person actually couldn't even get through the software and was having great difficulty with the homeownership program and just getting to the point where they would actually be able to process the mortgage. So in fact, Jessica, the day that I spoke with her, what was so wonderful about her is her knowledge and understanding. She got right with us. We were on the path to homeownership immediately. They actually didn't even get us to the phase of giving us a mortgage loan, like approved financing. So we never got to the portion with Realtor because they had too many bugs to work out with software. We were told to go and do credit rebuilding for coerced debt. So there were just a lot of, I would say, confusion around the process for the previous mortgage person that we were with. And also, I would say, the person who was credit counseling us. So we never got out the gate. But with Jessica, we took off running. Night and day. They were trying to get us approved for a conventional loan. Jessica came in with an FHA loan, which was better for us and what we actually were pursuing in the first place. Bar none, it was a horrible experience to begin with. And then Jessica turned that around for us and helped us close the home. I would say that when my mortgage person who I was previously with just kind of backhandedly told me, oh, we're not participating in the Section 8 homeownership program. The very same day, I reached out to Washington State Finance Commission. They directed me to their website, and Jessica was, in fact, the #1 top mortgage person on the website. I reached out to her, and immediately she understood where we were coming from. So I would say, by the grace of God, that same day that we lost our mortgage provider, there was no delay with starting with Jessica. She was on top of it, she understood, and then we started working on the pre-approval process. I would say both Stephen and Jessica were very accommodating for what my daughter's special needs were, and that was very important. It was very kind as well. I think him taking us out to all the different houses that we went and we looked at was very helpful so that we could figure out what we want versus what we don't want. And even though I personally was looking for more, I would say, farm and homestead and land, my daughter won out in the end because her needs are very important. And so because this was her first experience, I wanted to make sure, that it was special, and Stephen and Jessica helped it make it very special too. We felt completely supported. There were several times throughout that process that I felt that way. One, to get through pre-approval and to have an amount to go out and look was very helpful for my daughter to feel that this was taking place. And I would say too, when we got into the process of closing the home, going through that process to get all the paperwork and answer all of the underwriters' questions. They were very helpful and responsive to what our needs were. So definitely at that point, I realized, this is gonna happen, because they were so supportive to get us through to close before the 4th of July. Back and forth, supportive from sun up to sundown. Absolutely amazing. I think what surprised me about the whole process, and if anything, the differential from the prior mortgage person to Jessica, was how quickly they moved us through. With the previous mortgage provider, things had kind of been dragging out from August of last year through like January, February of this year. Once we got going with Jessica and Steven, what surprised me is that everything just went so very quickly, and how easy it was to, work with them and the underwriter to answer any questions about, accounts or verification, all of that. They were wonderful. There were different little things that came up along the way. But as far as financing, I think Jessica was very supportive in ensuring that we could stay in our budget, and was very thoughtful about our disabilities, our fixed incomes, what discounts we would get that would support our home ownership over time and space being successful. That's important when you're dealing with disabled people. That's important when you're dealing with fixed income, for someone to understand and know what it means after you close for a home, that you can be able to pay all of the bills that are related to homeownership, including utilities, taxes, things of that nature. Well, I actually had this conversation with one of my daughters. She has a voucher with Seattle Housing Authority, and I just explained how wonderful of a process this has been for us. We did participate in the Covenant program, which is a reparatory program for redlining. So I've had this conversation with my daughter, and I let her know it's always better to be a homeowner than a renter. And just talk to her from the perspective of paying into mortgage so she doesn't have to pack up and move, take care of my grandchild, and things of that nature. So for me, homeownership is very important. I have parents who were here before the date for the reparatory program for redlining. And I think it's important that, and I've been telling everyone, not just my family members, but I think the Covenant program is a big piece with regard to assisting homeownership that Jessica was also very wonderful and knowledgeable about. So for me, I have been speaking with a lot of people, especially people of color who fit the criteria of all races. My son-in-law is Filipino and Hawaiian. So it's like, what about his family members? But just, the big push for homeownership as opposed to rental, because at the end of the day, that is how families of color can build wealth. And that is additionally how families of color can be stable and not be displaced or summarily put out on the street because of landlords and their choices of remodeling their properties, let alone evictions. My dad took advantage of the GI Bill. They do have properties. So by example of my parents as well. In fact, when I did the research for my verification of race and being here prior to the date, Seattle genealogy did take me to the yellow pages or the white pages. And so she explained to me that my parents' address and the H next to their name meant homeowner. So it is a very important part of our family in general to engage in homeownership. I think them as a team and in general could be summed up as safe, supportive, and successful in helping us to attain homeownership. They made us feel very safe, which is important. Any questions we ever had, we felt very comfortable asking them. Just knowing that someone more knowledgeable than you, in fact, is supporting you and keeping you safe through that process to successfully close a home is important. What I'm most excited about is just getting back to family being in our home and their friends and family dinners and holidays. I have my daughter who just graduated from Seattle University she does photography, so we'll be setting up a darkroom and stuff like that. So I would just say having space for a family to be there and grow, because our next phase, because I homeschool my daughter, is just developing a small business plan for her, and we need definitely need a home base to do that. So we're excited about going on to the next phase of settling in and venturing out into different interests that they have. Safe, supportive, and successful, just encouraging you to get through the process, but also just making you feel safe enough that support going through that process to successful closure of a home, that you can do it. So a lot of cheerleading, a lot of checking in when needed to just make sure there's understanding of the process so that you feel safe enough to move forward with the next step. Patient, kind, supportive, and funny. There was at one point when I was following behind him, we were going to look for a home. A deer just kind of ran right between our cars. And he was very kind. I was a little rattled. And so I would just say very, very patient. I'm not the best driver in the world. So, it was very kind for him to wait for me to go from point A to point B, because sometimes I would get lost. Sometimes my GPS would go out. And so I just appreciate the patience, and the kindness, and sometimes the waiting.